Absolute proof of a created world was discovered in the mid-20th century, dispelling any possibility of both the Big Bang and evolution theory. From this discovery, the world's primary governments were forced into a treaty requiring absolute, unconditional, and immediate cooperation. Even the world's greatest adversary at that time, the Soviet Union, agreed to sign this treaty. And still, the Antarctic Treaty of 1959 continues to this day. Ultimately, the most paramount discovery in Earth's history was made just before this mysterious treaty was rushed into action. If you are willing to listen, I ask that you at least consider this epic piece of our world's true history. Escaping the Maze, A Mouse's Guide. Chapter 5. The Antarctic Treaty. Let us recall the mysterious Antarctic Treaty that was rushed together in 1959, signed by Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Chile, France, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and the United States. This treaty came just after a series of pioneering expeditions led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, a highly distinguished American naval officer and explorer. Byrd led several expeditions to Antarctica, the most famous being Operation High Jump, 1946 to 1947, and Operation Deep Freeze, 1955 to 1956. Byrd, soon following Operation Deep Freeze, passed away in his sleep from an alleged heart condition at the age of 68. Subsequently, a so-called secret diary attributed to him surfaced, which contained dubious claims about an advanced alien civilization discovered in Antarctica through an entrance into a hollow part of Earth. This diary, widely lacking any authenticity, would clearly appear to taint Byrd's reputation by painting him as delusional and his Antarctic accounts as mere fiction. This early defamation was a preemptive strike to tarnish his credibility in the event that further revelations from Antarctica emerged, which could attract unwanted attention to additional findings that were made. We must remember that the discoveries in Antarctica were so profound that they prompted an international agreement to restrict unauthorized exploration, suggesting momentous findings beyond the continent's well-documented natural resources. Dominic and Operation Fishbowl. In 1962, a sequence of high-altitude nuclear detonations known as Operation Fishbowl were carried out by the United States under a broader umbrella of tests titled Dominic. These detonations occurred not on the ground, but at high altitudes, further indicating that they were targeted directly at the enigmatic boundary central to our investigation. Most intriguing are the particular names chosen: Operation Fishbowl and Dominic, which is derived from the Latin Dominicus, meaning belonging to the Lord. One might interpret these conjoined names as fishbowl belonging to the Lord. I maintain that the paramount discoveries in Antarctica provide compelling evidence that our existence is the result of an intelligent and creative force. These findings not only challenge the foundational principles of evolutionary and Big Bang theories, but also reveal that our world is confined within defined and impassable boundaries. I also contend that Operation Fishbowl and Dominic, curiously named Fishbowl belonging to the Lord, were not merely nuclear tests, but powerful efforts to probe and examine the mysterious boundary encompassing our Earth. The urgent need to conceal this boundary prompted the creation of a counter-narrative which portrays the cosmos as an expansive and limitless frontier. NASA crafted this elaborate counter-narrative to diminish the potential impact of significant discoveries in Antarctica, which, if revealed, would clearly demonstrate our existence within a contained and purposefully created world. In doing so, they aimed to dispel any possible notion of an enclosed system, instead promoting the concept of infinite space extending in all directions as the officially propagated narrative. Should such revelations ever come to light, they would quickly capture worldwide attention and trigger an unprecedented level of social upheaval, directly affecting religious, scientific, philosophical, educational, theoretical, and political realms. This might sound like a teaser for the latest science fiction blockbuster, but I urge you to venture forward as we look far deeper into this deceptive and nefarious narrative that surpasses even Hollywood's wildest imaginings, as unlikely as that might seem at current. These assertions will be substantiated through an array of documented events and clear instances of fraud that anyone can verify for themselves, evidencing that the cosmological narrative we have been taught since children is a carefully orchestrated cover-up, more entrenched and protected today than ever before. Our objective is to critically reevaluate, and ultimately dismantle the entire foundational credibility of NASA and their counterpart space agencies worldwide. We will confront unsettling truths that not only illuminate these profound revelations, but also bring them full circle, enabling us to fully expose this elaborate, modern-day psychological operation. Chapter 6: NASA, Cosmological Monopolists. The following chapters will likely be the most conceptually challenging for readers. Those who are passionate about this organization and firmly believe in the widely accepted narratives of outer space and cosmology presented by NASA may find the ideas here particularly difficult to reconcile, or even outright reject. Letting go of long-held beliefs is a significant challenge for fans of space exploration and beloved movie franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek, especially upon discovering that the entire concept of outer space is an elaborate modern-day facade. I anticipate that the seemingly impossible assertions soon to be presented will be a bridge too far for most to venture. Although we will decisively expose and document the extent of deceit, fraud, manipulation, and duplicity orchestrated by this organization and its collaborating space agencies, many readers may still find it too challenging to even consider. We will evidence that NASA stands at the forefront of perpetuating the most diabolical deception in history. This elaborate deception has far-reaching consequences and implications, entangling us in false cosmologies, promises of future technologies, erroneous models of our Earth's true structure, and the alluring prospect of further space exploration that continues to captivate many today. Given that taxpayers provide $72 million each day to this enigmatic federal agency, we might naturally begin to wonder, what has NASA really brought us? Have you ever stopped to think about that? The gravity of the situation will deepen further when we realize we are channeling our taxpayer resources into an organization perpetrating a deception of staggering proportions from its inception up to present. We inadvertently fund it while being coaxed into wholeheartedly endorsing what is portrayed as a valiant exploration into the unknown. Since its inception, NASA has effectively dominated the entire narrative surrounding cosmology and our understanding of Earth and its structure. With ever-advancing technology, the agency has continued to further refine its methods to deceptively seduce the world at large. If there are any governmental bodies today that should be thoroughly investigated, audited, and held accountable for crimes against humanity, it must certainly be NASA and its international counterpart space agencies and affiliates. The upcoming revelations of fraud and deception will be difficult for most to acknowledge and come to terms with. Yet overcoming these obstacles is essential to navigating further through this deceitful maze to reach new levels of truth and enlightenment. This self-protecting conspiracy has captivated the worldwide population from inception up to present day. Awakening from this elaborate modern-day deception will be one of the most challenging endeavors imaginable for many readers when faced with the following revelations. This exploration will be difficult to accept, diverging entirely from the established account of our universe that we believe we currently understand today. The images shown here express what I soon anticipate from most readers who continue ahead when initially presented with these uncomfortable assertions. I offer my deepest apologies to those who staunchly support NASA and believe in its declared mission of advancing space exploration. This extends to the established modern-day narratives of cosmology and a completely false structure of our Earth, which we have come to accept through NASA and collaborating space agencies worldwide. The information that follows will sharply challenge the core beliefs you have long held since childhood. Ancient cosmology. It was only in the modern era, following the advent of NASA and the commencement of space exploration through rocketry, that the heliocentric model of our solar system was universally acknowledged as a scientific truth. This acceptance effectively dominated the timeless contention of the geocentric model, which had been the prevailing view across a diverse range of ancient societies, including the Sumerians, Egyptians, Babylonians, Hebrews, Greeks, Indians, Chinese, Mayans, Celts, Polynesians, Aztecs, Inca, scholars of the Islamic Golden Age, and medieval Europeans. The geocentric model. The geocentric model is an astronomical concept that positions the Earth at the center of the universe. According to this model, all celestial bodies, including the sun, moon, planets, and stars, revolve around and over the Earth. The geocentric view asserts that the Earth is a fixed, immobile point in the universe, and that the apparent daily movement of the sky and celestial bodies is due to the rotation of the heavens around the Earth, rather than the Earth's rotation around its axis, as posited in the heliocentric model of today. The heliocentric model. The heliocentric model, an astronomical theory developed in the 16th century by Nicholas Copernicus, positions the Sun as the center of the solar system, with Earth orbiting around it. This theory was further popularized by astronomers like Johannes Kepler and Galileo Galilei. It provided explanations for phenomena such as the apparent retrograde motion of planets and their varying brightness and speed in the night sky. This shift to a sun-centered model marked a significant transformation in scientific thought and laid the groundwork for modern astronomy as it is taught today. Abandoning the heliocentric model is essential to escaping the maze of misconceptions that have been deeply ingrained into our foundational education from the beginning. Let us reflect again on the urgent push to indoctrinate the world with heliocentricity as the definitive truth, aimed at overshadowing any revelations that might leak over time from the discoveries in Antarctica. Had they been disclosed as discovered, these findings would have swiftly ended any contention between the geocentric model and the widely accepted heliocentric model of today. The motive to obscure discoveries in Antarctica contributed to the creation of NASA and the subsequent emphasis on space exploration. This push was primarily aimed at reinforcing belief in the heliocentric model and the concept of an infinite cosmos, thereby supporting the Big Bang theory and the idea of an ever-expanding universe. This initiative has significantly diminished the geocentric view of our universe, which is regarded as outdated and archaic by most today. The greatest deception of our time has been the conjuring of infinite space, said to extend indefinitely all around us, and a model of cosmology that starkly differs from our true reality. This false modern-day cosmology serves to obscure the evidence of an originating event, central to our existence and fundamental in shaping a true understanding of our world. The establishment of NASA could be seen as the cornerstone of a false narrative, a saga in which rockets serve as mere props on a stage, appearing to explore an infinite expanse that, upon closer look, reveals itself to be an expertly designed backdrop. Discovering that our world is a tightly enclosed system, indicative of deliberate creation, would send shockwaves through our collective understanding across the world. The concept of outer space, popularized since the mid-20th century, should be seen as a carefully crafted story, a fictional construct designed to shape a false and deceptive cosmology. In this narrative, NASA and its international counterparts serve as the guardians and stewards of space exploration fantasy, meticulously cultivating a deceptive narrative and agenda. Their purported framework, widely accepted and rarely questioned, has become the dominant narrative, effectively overshadowing any alternative interpretations that offer a vastly different view of Earth and cosmology. Outer space. As again defined by NASA, outer space refers to the vast expanse of the universe that lies beyond Earth's atmosphere and extends past low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, and high Earth orbit. It is a far distant region characterized by a vacuum, very little matter, and negligible gravitational attractions. The term implies a deep space characteristic of the cosmic void, far removed from Earth. We will scrutinize the domain of outer space, which space agencies claim to have explored and continue to investigate, an expanse claimed to have no known boundaries, reinforcing the existence of infinite space extending in all directions around us. We must critically examine and reject the many layers of misinformation that have justified allocating such an immense taxpayer budget to NASA. We have been led to believe that this funding is advancing the cause of space exploration. We should thoroughly investigate whether NASA represents a practical use of taxpayer dollars, or if it amounts to an excessive and opaque expenditure with unclear returns and quite evidently founded on fraud from its inception. Low Earth orbit is the limit. We must recognize that no space agency has ever traveled beyond low Earth orbit, nor have they ever achieved farcical landings on the Moon or the planet Mars, contrary to the multitude of fake images and videos provided to mislead the world. Once thoroughly examined, these very pieces of visual media clearly reveal their deceptive clues within themselves. Media fakery that is apparent, even to the less discerning eyes of children. The seemingly endless array of retractions, contradictions, and inconsistencies involving NASA will quickly become apparent. A comprehensive examination of NASA's core credibility is crucial, as it clearly reveals the agency's expertise in crafting illusions and deceptions. This is all part of an effort to promote a completely fictitious cosmology and, even more alarmingly, to obscure the true structure of the Earth. Our journey will lead to the troubling acceptance of harsh new realities and truths, provided we can endure the unsettling information that follows. We can either reject the notion of a deception so vast it defies imagination or any glimpse of plausibility, or we can courageously recognize the disconcerting revelation of the countless illusions and fraud that have entangled us in our misled view of Earth and cosmology. Chapter 7. Are we there yet? We will now examine the extensive fabrications and deceptions promoted by NASA and other space agencies that have constructed a completely fictitious narrative and framework of cosmology and the Earth. It is entirely natural for some readers to experience conflict, struggling to reconcile these new revelations with their long-held beliefs. Our journey is designed to methodically peel back multiple layers of false truths. This process can be as unsettling as a child, gradually realizing there is no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, compounded by the revelation that something entirely different lies beneath. We will avoid overwhelming our discussions with exhaustive evidence for every claim. Rather, our approach is to highlight a series of disputed events, presenting a clear and succinct case for due skepticism. I aim to facilitate an engaging and manageable exploration, carefully avoiding information overload to promote sustained participation, while remaining mindful of our natural inclination to defend long-held beliefs and resist conflicting information. The quick dismissal of challenging ideas significantly hinders our understanding, especially when confronting the possibility of a grand deception that reshapes our perceived reality. As we move forward, our ability to consider difficult ideas and new realities will certainly be tested in our pursuit of truth. Remember, it is a rash dismissal of conflicting ideas that shields these deceptions from scrutiny and self-protects them. The first moon landing. The first moon landing event occurred on July 20, 1969, when NASA's Apollo 11 mission allegedly landed astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the lunar surface, while Michael Collins orbited above in the command module. The official story states that Neil Armstrong became the first human to step onto the moon, followed by Buzz Aldrin. Setting the stage. Let us first explore the significant events and key figures that contributed to the inaugural moon landing and subsequent developments. We will then address many concerns regarding the authenticity of this historical event. This will sharpen our discernment and help expose this elaborate psyop that, as of the writing of this book, diverts into itself an astonishing $72 million per day in taxpayer funding. Skepticism from the start. Soon after their historic mission, all three astronauts of Apollo 11 resigned. The astronauts' first television press conference, shown here, captures their somber expressions and reflects the overall atmosphere of this mysterious interview. A stark contrast to the jubilation one would surely expect, based on one of mankind's greatest achievements in history. The astronauts' reluctant replies and uneasy behavior, coupled with an atmosphere that many perceive as incredulous, render the interview quite a mystery, resembling a calamity rather than a celebration of three men brimming with pride and enthusiasm. James Webb, NASA's top official, unexpectedly resigned just days before the first Apollo 11 mission launched. This departure was unexplained and came at a time when he was on the verge of witnessing what would have been the pinnacle of his professional career. NASA meets with space movie producer? An interesting photograph from 1965 shows NASA's George Mueller visiting the MGM studio where film producer Stanley Kubrick was preparing to shoot the famous space movie 2001, A Space Odyssey. Also visible in the photograph are Arthur C. Clarke, a British science fiction writer, and Professor Teofilo Tabanera of the Argentine Space Concession following behind. Many find this photograph to further assert a studio-based moon landing. Lost tapes? Shortage of tapes? All original Apollo 11 slow-scan television tapes, which allegedly contained the raw footage and telemetry data of the 1969 moon landing, remain entirely lost to this day. Even more suspicious, NASA later erased and recorded over other key tapes that allegedly held the original high-quality video recordings of the moonwalk, citing a supposed shortage of magnetic tapes during the 1970s and 1980s. With its substantial resources and government backing, how could NASA face difficulties in procuring magnetic tapes to safeguard the epic footage of their first lunar voyage? Surely public or private entities could have even donated magnetic tapes to preserve this historic achievement. Most troubling, the outright loss of this historical material is all the more perplexing. Sunlight or stage lighting? Many publicly available photos, allegedly taken from the lunar surface, intentionally obscure the true source of light, rendering it completely blocked out from view. This consistent pattern, where a strong light source is present in almost all similar photographs, clearly obscures the true origin of the illumination, whether it is truly the sun or artificial stage lighting. This deliberate obfuscation fuels further speculation about the actual source of light in these photographs. Glowing in the dark? We also find instances where an astronaut's suit is brightly lit, even though it is on the side opposite from the sun and completely shadowed by the lunar module. This discrepancy raises questions about how the rear side of the lunar lander and the astronaut can appear fully illuminated, while also being fully engulfed in the lander's shadow, given that the sun is the only light source that should be on the moon. Multiple shadow angles? Another obvious example of the presence of multiple light sources in these photographs is evidenced by the extreme difference in shadow directions. The significantly divergent shadow directions cannot be simply attributed to an optical illusion of perspective, as many NASA supporters posit, especially to the degree of divergence we see. No blast crater or debris? Another highly scrutinized aspect of the 1969 lunar module's descent onto the moon's surface is the complete absence of a blast crater or any disturbance beneath its landing site. The thruster of the module was said to produce 10,000 pounds of thrust, while again, no imprint, scorching, or any remnant whatsoever of this unimaginable heat and thrust was left under the lunar module, not even dust or debris on the landing pads. 1972, Apollo 17, smoke break? In the image shown here, found in NASA's Public Image Archive, did the camera operator flick their cigarette onto the studio production set and then take a picture of it immediately after? Let us pose a question to AI. Is it possible to light or smoke a cigarette on the surface of the moon?
Due to the lack of oxygen, the vacuum environment, extreme temperatures, and the constraints of wearing a spacesuit, it is not feasible to light or smoke a cigar or cigarette on the surface of the moon. Producing smoke on the moon would be extremely challenging due to these conditions.
Rain, rain, go away. Further evidence that the 1972 moon landing was an elaborate hoax, as well as the 1969 moon landing, is found in an image that captures raindrops, each forming streaks of identical length due to the camera's shutter speed, and descending at identical angles. This was one of NASA's last photographs taken from the moon. Was the studio production rained out, so to speak? We could go on. As many are aware, an endless multitude of collective evidence could be presented to challenge the authenticity of the moon landings, yet such an in-depth analysis lies beyond the scope of our overall goal. The moon landing controversy alone would span numerous volumes, given the extensive information available and all of the skeptical hindsight we have accumulated up to modern day. Fake images of Earth. A leaked videotape from the Apollo 11 mission shows the three astronauts using the command module's circular window to fabricate false images of a spherical Earth. They also used a sheet of paper to create the illusion of a terminator line, which marks the division between night and day. By darkening the cabin lights, the exterior walls of the window mimicked the blackness of space, thus producing the illusion of a spherical Earth captured from a distance. The astronauts captured only a small portion of the Earth through the circular window, where clouds mingled with land, producing these misleading images. Recordings of their communications with Mission Control discuss refining the realism of images in post-production. Most important, the command module's circular window was deliberately used to crop more of the Earth's surface from view. These deceptively cropped images imply that more of the Earth was not captured outside of the circular window. Consider the implications here. We have been taught that Earth is spherical, but a complete, unobstructed image of Earth was never captured from the command module. Instead, what we see is only a partial view of Earth, framed by the command module's circular window and artificially enhanced with a simulated terminator line to increase realism. Many public images that purport to show the Earth from the moon's surface have been exposed as fallacious composites created by superimposing falsely produced photographs of a spherical Earth onto separate photographs of a lunar surface. What lies outside of this cropped Earth image, knowing that this image was created by capturing only a portion of the Earth's surface through the command module's circular window? In the upcoming chapters, we will look closer at the selective framing used in these photographs, which reveal less of the Earth's surface. we will explore why certain regions have been intentionally omitted from these images and kept out of public awareness. This will guide us back to Antarctica, uncovering what was hidden from view through the circular window of the command module. This will provide the final pieces needed to understand the true shape, structure, and composition of the Earth. Photoshop and Blue Marble 2.0. The credibility of NASA imagery is further called into question by an interview with NASA's senior program analyst who was responsible for creating Blue Marble 2.0. Robert Simmons states that complete photographs of Earth do not exist. What we see are digitally crafted composites. He further adds, it is photoshopped, but it has to be. Further explained, images of Earth are constructed using datasets, multiple strips of satellite images pieced together to produce what appears to be a realistic depiction of Earth. This further solidifies doubts about the authenticity of photographic evidence from the Apollo 11 mission. How can we place any real trust in these images or any others when NASA's own senior program analyst admits that there are no complete photographs of the Earth? Moon rock in museum is just petrified wood. The Telegraph, August 29, 2009. Curators at Amsterdam's Rijksmuseum, where the rock has attracted tens of thousands of visitors each year, discovered that the lunar rock, valued at £308,000, was in fact just petrified wood. The rock was given to Willem Dries, a former Dutch leader during a global tour by Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Edwin Buzz Aldrin following their moon mission 50 years ago. NASA gave moon rocks to more than 100 countries, following lunar missions in 1969 and the 1970s. The United States Embassy in The Hague is carrying out an investigation into the affair. Ocean-bound rockets? Are you aware that every NASA rocket launch in history follows an arcing trajectory, curving back down toward the vast expanse of the ocean, rather than actually ascending into space? To date, no space agency has ever presented video evidence of a rocket ascending in a continued vertical trajectory beyond low Earth orbit into deep space. This absence of footage is attributed to our new understanding that a direct upward course would expose the boundary of our contained world upon contact. This continued practice should now begin to reveal that NASA and other space agencies only create the appearance of rockets heading into space. In reality, their trajectories always curve downwards soon after launch, eventually returning to Earth, consistently over the open ocean, as observed in every rocket launch in history. The only exception to this were the rockets involved in Operation Fishbowl mentioned earlier, which were part of an effort to investigate the limits of the Earth's upper bounds through a series of nuclear detonations impacting against it. This consistent practice prevents extended observation of the rocket's true trajectory, leaving unresolved whether the rocket is actually heading into outer space or merely arcing toward a predetermined splashdown in the ocean, thereby perpetuating a deceptive portrayal of an authentic space launch. This notable omission is difficult to rationalize, especially considering that since 1969, not a single space agency has documented such an event. Video recordings of launches always terminate shortly after liftoff, just as the rocket begins its predictable downward trajectory toward the ocean. We might now begin to realize that the only thing ever sent to space has been our imagination, and that throughout the history of space exploration, the release of an uninterrupted video capturing a rocket's complete ascent into space could have decisively demonstrated that no physical barrier hinders access to space. Such evidence would have dispelled any notion that rockets are merely returning to restricted ocean areas as part of a deceptive act. This oversight is as hard to believe as an architect designing a skyscraper without including elevators, a fundamental element inexplicably absent from the records of space exploration and rocket launch history. What about amateur rockets? The behavior of amateur rockets as they ascend to higher altitudes is both remarkable and significant to our discussion, particularly as they demonstrate clear interactions with this upper boundary in question. Unlike rockets launched by NASA and other space agencies, which always follow a deliberate arcing trajectory back toward the Earth, amateur rockets ascend directly upward. The 2014 Go Fast rocket. In 2014, Go Fast Sports launched a rocket that broke world records for altitude and speed. Intriguingly, the rocket abruptly halted at 73.1 miles in altitude, as if caught in quicksand, without any explosion or visible damage. This sudden stop clearly revealed an interaction with an unseen boundary. Surprisingly, the rocket was neither destroyed nor visibly damaged and successfully reached an orbital phase. The 2017 SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. In 2017, SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket grazed along a mysterious upper layer, creating an effect similar to gliding on a liquid surface, complete with visible ripples and waves. The video here shows this trail resembling rippling water streaming behind the rocket. This visual phenomenon manifests upon contact with the mysterious boundary, showing no prior signs of this effect before impact. We lost the technology? NASA astronaut Don Pettit in 2016 stated,
"I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again."
How can we reasonably accept that more than 50 years after the last moon landings in 1972, the technology from a far less advanced era is now beyond recovery? More fake NASA Earth images. Shown here are 8 official NASA Earth images, spanning from 1972 to 2015. These images clearly display several glaring inconsistencies, including variations in the sizes of continents. When viewed at higher resolution directly from NASA's public image archive, they strikingly resemble cartoons in most cases. Hairspray? In countless video interviews allegedly from the International Space Station, female astronauts are clearly seen to have their hair rigidly set, presumably by hairspray, as it springs back to its original position with each movement of their head. This lack of natural, free-flowing movement stands in contrast to what one would anticipate in an authentic zero-gravity setting. Despite several rigorous head movements, the astronaut's hair snaps back to its original position from the start of the interview, as if it were on springs, instead of drifting freely, as one would surely anticipate in a low-gravity environment of space. Why would there be a need to orchestrate such an effect, when untethered free-floating hair would naturally occur in a low-gravity setting? If stray hair were a practical concern, simple solutions such as wearing a NASA-branded hat or tying the hair back in a bun or ponytail would suffice, and still allow the hair to move freely. Instead, NASA constructs the illusion of a weightless environment in a way that is so unconvincing even a child would question its authenticity. Air bubbles in space? Numerous instances have been documented in publicly available videos where air bubbles emerge from astronauts' suits during alleged spacewalks on the International Space Station. Additionally, reflections in astronauts' visors reveal a scuba diver, complete with an oxygen tank, operating a video camera. On July 16, 2013, an astronaut's helmet filled up with water during an alleged spacewalk involving Italian astronaut Luca Parmitano. This clearly reveals that spacewalks are not from space, but quite evidently from NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory in Houston, Texas. This massive underwater training facility shown here, housing a replica of the International Space Station, is designed to simulate the zero-gravity environment of space. Video layers and glitches. Many public NASA videos display unmistakable anomalies. The first part of the video shown here appears to show a genuine video interview from the International Space Station. However, a subsequent video glitch later clearly exposes the use of a separate video layer onto which the astronauts have been superimposed onto an entirely different video layer background. Harnesses in space? Many public International Space Station video interviews clearly show outlines and impressions of harness wires on astronauts' clothing, particularly during stunts such as rolls or flips, clearly indicating their use for artificial support. In some videos, harnesses are left visible, assuming a failure of video editing techniques intended to conceal them. India lands on the moon. CNN, August 23, 2023. As expected, the public only sees the initial launch footage from this significant lunar mission. Live coverage was immediately discontinued moments thereafter. This again demonstrates that, to this day, there is no continuous video documentation available of any journey to the moon, even in our most modern technological era in history. Incredible video footage that would have captivated audiences worldwide remains mysteriously unreleased. Subsequently, the only photographic or video representations of the lunar lander and command module, released later to the public and not live, were poorly produced computer-generated images of merely cartoon quality at best. Accompanying these were low-resolution and dubious short video clips, showing the module hovering over the moon, characterized by unsteady and very poor frame rates. The following official images are from the Chandrayaan-3 mission that purport to evidence this voyage to the moon, that once again a child can quickly discern as entirely fallacious. Remarkable, given that this is all that is provided to us during an era of unparalleled technology. As well, what camera tracked, followed, and filmed the spacecraft to capture these images, dare we ask? China makes historic landing on far side of the moon. Scientific American, Delhi, January 3, 2019. China's Chang'e 6 probe lands on far side of the moon. Scientific American, Delhi, June 1, 2024. For both of these missions, the public was only shown the launch, with no subsequent video footage of the journey to the moon or images of Earth during the ascent into space. Given China's status as a technology powerhouse, the absence of visual documentation and coverage from these missions is confounding. The only visuals provided were generic scenes from a mission control room filled with applause. All available images and videos, including those purporting to show the lunar lander on the moon, are of such poor, computer-generated quality that even the least discerning eye can quickly recognize their inauthenticity. The few images provided that depict the moon's surface lack any semblance of authenticity, even at first glance. Are we so easily duped? Can we finally confront the reality of our blind and trusting acquiescence to such deceitful fabrications? We have become too complacent, settling for the absolute minimum. A fleeting headline, the sight of a rocket climbing the sky, and a handful of dubious images alleged as evidence. This is an affront to the public's intelligence, and their entitlement as taxpayers to an acceptable level of proof of such alleged monumental space endeavors. Could our enchantment with the concept of outer space play a part fueled by dreams of moon bases and interstellar tourism? Is it the allure of space exploration, amplified by the science fiction of Hollywood, that has us so blindly trusting to believe such sparse evidence without innate skepticism? Area 51, Aliens and UFOs. The topic of extraterrestrial life and UFOs is so vast and multifaceted that it could be the focus of innumerable volumes. Public fascination with aliens and UFOs surged in the mid-20th century, notably with events such as the Roswell, New Mexico incident and the mysteries surrounding Area 51. This surge was rather timely, coinciding perfectly with the dawn of space exploration. This captivation has endured, continually fueled by proliferation of space and alien-themed films, along with a continuing cultural preoccupation with UFOs and aliens. Is it possible that the concept of aliens and UFOs was entirely fabricated and propagated to lend further credibility to the existence of outer space? Should a boundary around our Earth be confirmed, as we intend to demonstrate, the entire notion of aliens and UFOs would become purely fictional and obsolete. I believe that any legitimate reports of UFOs or mysterious aerial events, which are not based on unsubstantiated claims or ambiguous videos, are potentially orchestrated by space agencies like NASA. This is done to promote and reinforce the concept of infinite space, contrary to Earth's contained system, which was discovered during Admiral Byrd's Antarctic expeditions. Given NASA's extensive budget, it is certainly possible that considerable resources could be allocated to deceptively stage and simulate encounters or incidents with aliens and UFOs, past, present, and in the future, as part of a broader agenda. Such an agenda could be crafted to effectively unify the world's population by staging a manufactured crisis, specifically a fake alien incident of sorts, that necessitates worldwide unity. This would lay the necessary groundwork for creating a single worldwide government and possibly a universal currency, a planned agenda that many have warned of for decades. This could expand the role of an existing international organization, such as the United Nations, to become the world government, paving the way for a new world order. Historically implemented by rulers and governments for centuries, this is known as order out of chaos. It involves deliberately creating a crisis to force a pre-planned resolution when people are most desperate for it. This agenda might not be as hard to imagine, given that the Latin phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages, has long been inscribed on the US $1 bill, quite synonymous to say the least. It is also noteworthy that the US $1 bill features pagan symbology, such as the all-seeing eye, alongside imagery reminiscent of a pyramid from ancient civilizations. What connection could possibly exist between the United States, ancient pagan cultures, and the all-seeing eye that continues to persist on the US $1 bill to this day? Earth to readers. When will we acknowledge the growing evidence of a grand and carefully crafted deception? To what extent are we willing to ignore our intuition, logic, common sense, and reason, merely to conform to popular consensus, go with the flow, or avoid confronting internal conflicts and thereby deny deeper truths? It should become clear that the concept of outer space has been entirely fabricated with a discernible motive. Chapters 8 and 9 comprise nearly half of the entire book, and mark a crucial turning point in our exploration. Together, they provide the final pieces needed for a complete understanding of the true scale and cosmic distances to the sun, moon, planets, and stars, revealing evidence that these bodies are far closer and smaller than traditionally taught. Through real-world experiments that anyone can test and verify for themselves, these chapters reveal the true model of our Earth and illustrate a far more accurate understanding of the celestial world around us. These chapters reveal our contained, geocentric world, explaining why this paramount truth has been so fiercely guarded. They provide the final pieces needed to uncover the greatest deception of the modern era, a revelation so significant that the world's leading governments entered into a unified treaty to staunchly protect it and continue to do so to this day. These chapters also expose how our familiar image of Antarctica has been deliberately fabricated into a fictitious landmass. What we are shown as a remote South Pole ice cap was in fact conceptually invented by taking an authentic flat Earth map, stretching it across a conceptual globe, and compressing a small section of Antarctica's true ice wall inner boundary into the fictional continent we are shown today. In doing so, the vast expanse of the real Antarctic ice wall and its outer extending ice shelf, where Admiral Byrd discovered the outer limits of our contained world, was completely erased from public knowledge. It is within all of this that the concept of outer space emerged, rushed together by NASA and cooperating space agencies to conceal the truth of our enclosed realm and suppress the greatest discovery of all, that humanity exists within a designed construct, rather than being a product of random evolutionary processes over vast spans of time. Motive continues to become clear when we recall Admiral Byrd's statement on national television that Antarctica contains enough natural resources to supply the entire world for centuries, while remembering as well that only a fraction of Antarctica had been explored at that time. Erasing that vast region from public awareness by fabricating a false southern ice cap continent on an imaginary globe, one portraying every region as already mapped and accounted for, exposes a primary purpose behind this deception. Such deception grants world governments absolute dominion over the forbidden reaches of Antarctica, its boundless expanses of uncharted land, and its endless wealth of natural resources, treasures capable of reshaping the course of human civilization for generations to come. As our true flat Earth model comes to light, what once seemed the wildest theory imaginable now stands as a revelation of truth. Through a clear record of documented history, countless cases of fraud and deception, and real-world evidence that supports our true flat Earth construct, it is quite evident that our world governments will stop at nothing to protect this most paramount discovery, one that proves we are the product of a creative force and not evolutionary accidents. Had this ultimate truth come to light, it would have fractured the pillars of our reality, dismantling false scientific doctrines such as the Big Bang and evolution theories, and ignited an unstoppable awakening of humanity against those who have long ruled from the shadows. It should now become clear that no cost would be too great and no illusion too elaborate to uphold this grand deception. Escaping the Maze, a Mouse's Guide, now available on Amazon.